Welcome to our YouTube channel, The Alien Tales, and please ensure that you have subscribed.
Every generation, my family guards the portal. This time, something beautiful came through. For centuries, we've kept the dimensional rift sealed. Monsters, demons, horrors beyond naming. She's the first visitor who made me question our duty. Finnegan O'Malley had always thought his family's hereditary job was monumentally stupid. While other kids grew up wanting to be astronauts or pirates, Finn spent his childhood learning the ancient art of standing around looking menacing near a glowing crack in reality. The portal, capital P, because apparently dimensional rifts deserved proper nouns, sat in the basement of their Victorian house like the world's most dangerous houseguest. It hummed constantly, a low vibration that made the china rattle and gave visitors headaches. Finn's great-great-great-grandmother had built the house around it in 1847. After some cosmic mishap had torn a hole between dimensions. Remember, Finnegan. His father had wheezed on his deathbed, gripping Finn's hand with surprising strength. Never let anything through, not the tentacled ones, not the ones that speak in backwards Latin, and definitely not the ones that smell like sulfur and claim they're just here to borrow a cup of sugar. Now, at 28, Finn sat in his inherited armchair, shotgun across his lap, reading a romance novel titled Passionate Plumber's Forbidden Love. The portal pulsed its usual sickly green, occasionally spitting out what looked like cosmic lint. His phone buzzed. Text from his sister. Still babysitting the interdimensional nightmare hole? Get a real job, loser. Finn sighed, turning the page. The plumber was just about to confess his feelings when the portal's humming changed pitch. He looked up, mildly annoyed. Something was coming through. The green light flared brighter, and Finn reluctantly set down his book. After 17 years of guard duty, he'd seen it all. Demons with too many teeth, shadow creatures that whispered stock tips, and once, memorably, a polite Victorian gentleman who'd apologized profusely for the intrusion before trying to eat Finn's soul. The portal shimmered, reality bending like heated glass. Then she stepped through. Finn's shotgun clattered to the floor. She was tall, elegant, with silver hair that seemed to move independently of any earthly wind. Her skin had a faint luminescent quality, like moonlight on water, and her eyes were the color of nebulae. Deep purple shot through with swirling gold. She wore what appeared to be armor made of crystallized starlight, which should have been ridiculous but somehow worked perfectly. She was also completely, utterly, devastatingly beautiful. "Oh," she said, her voice carrying an accent that sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "I seem to have taken a wrong turn at Alpha Centauri." Finn's mouth opened and closed like a fish. This was not in the family manual. The family manual had 17 chapters on immediate elimination techniques, and 0 chapters on what to do when an interdimensional goddess shows up looking lost. You, portal, guard," he stammered eloquently. She tilted her head, studying him with curious eyes. "Oh my, you're one of the guardians, aren't you? How wonderfully archaic. I thought your kind had died out centuries ago. Like telephone booths and customer service representatives who actually help." Out. Finn found his voice. "We're very much alive, thank you. And you're trespassing on sacred ground, or cursed ground, or..." He paused. "Actually, I'm not sure what kind of ground this is. My dad never clarified." She laughed, a sound like silver bells mixed with distant thunder. "Sacred, cursed ground. How delightfully contradictory." She looked around the basement, taking in the concrete walls, the ancient furnace, and Finn's impressive collection of empty pizza boxes. "Though I must say, your dimensional fortress could use some interior decorating advice." "It's not a fortress, it's my basement," Finn protested. "Even worse." "Look, Lady Celestine," she corrected, examining her reflection in the portal's shimmering surface and adjusting her armor with the casual vanity of someone who knew they looked fantastic. "Celestine," Finn repeated, thinking it was probably the most beautiful name he'd ever heard, which was concerning given his current obligation to potentially murder her. "You can't be here. It's against the rules." "Whose rules?" she asked, genuinely curious. Finn realized he had no idea. "The Guardian rules." "And who made those rules?" "My ancestors? And who gave them the authority to make rules about interdimensional travel?" Finn's brain hurt. They. Look, it doesn't matter. The point is, things that come through the portal are bad, evil, dangerous. Celestine raised an eyebrow that somehow managed to be both elegant and skeptical. I run a interdimensional travel agency. My biggest crime is occasionally overcharging for weekend trips to parallel universes where dinosaurs never went extinct. A travel agency? Finn's worldview was crumbling faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. Celestine's cosmic cruises. See the multiverse in style, she recited cheerfully. We have a 4.5-star rating on TripAdvisor. The half-star deduction was from a customer who complained that the parallel universe where everyone communicates through interpretive dance was too weird. Some people have no sense of adventure. Finn stared at her. But the monsters, the demons, the things with too many teeth. Oh, those. Celestine waved dismissively. Definitely not my clients. Probably refugees from the nightmare dimension. Terrible place. Constant screaming, everything smells like burnt rubber, and don't get me started on their customer service. Makes the DMV look efficient. The portal pulsed ominously, as if offended by the comparison. So you're telling me? Finn said slowly, pacing around his basement like a caged animal, that my family has been guarding a portal that's basically interdimensional Grand Central Station? More like a cosmic rest stop, Celestine corrected, now sitting cross-legged on his concrete floor with impossible grace. Though considerably less sanitary than your average truck stop bathroom. Finn stopped pacing. Then why all the monsters? Property values, she said matter-of-factly. Your portal opens directly onto the interdimensional highway, which is prime real estate. But it's also right next to the off-ramp for several rather unpleasant dimensions. Think of it like living next to both a shopping mall and a maximum security prison. That's actually a disturbing analogy. I aim to educate. She stood gracefully, brushing imaginary dust from her armor. The creatures you've been fighting aren't invaders. They're just lost tourists with terrible GPS systems. Or fleeing convicts. It's surprisingly hard to tell the difference sometimes. Finn slumped into his chair. My entire family legacy is based on a misunderstanding? Happens more often than you'd think. There's a whole dimension where people worship traffic cones because someone mistranslated "do not enter" as sacred geometric deities. This is insane. Sanity is overrated, Celestine said cheerfully. Besides, you've been doing important work. This portal hasn't had proper maintenance in decades. The dimensional filters are clogged, the reality stabilizers are held together with what appears to be duct tape, and someone, she shot him a pointed look, has been using the quantum resonance chamber as a cup holder. Finn glanced guiltily at his coffee mug sitting on the portal's control panel. It's the perfect height. The portal suddenly flared bright blue, and a sound like cosmic indigestion echoed through the basement. And that, Celestine said ominously, is not supposed to happen. Okay, don't panic, Celestine said, which immediately made Finn panic. What's happening? He demanded, watching the portal cycle through colors like a cosmic disco ball having an epileptic seizure. Minor dimensional hiccup, she said, though her casual tone was undermined by the way she was frantically pulling devices from what appeared to be pockets in space itself. Probably nothing. Could be a reality storm. Might be a paradox cascade. There's a small chance we're about to be invaded by a dimension where everything is made of angry pudding. Angry pudding? Surprisingly hostile, she muttered, scanning the portal with something that looked like a smartphone crossed with a TV remote. Oh dear, is not a phrase I want to hear right now. The portal's humming rose to a shriek, and cracks began appearing in the basement walls. Upstairs, Finn could hear his neighbor's dog barking hysterically. The dimensional membrane is destabilizing, Celestine announced. Your portal is having what humans might call a midlife crisis. It's trying to connect to every dimension simultaneously. Can you fix it? Probably. Maybe. There's a decent chance. She paused. Actually, I need your help. My help? I don't know anything about portal maintenance. I can barely program my microwave. You're the guardian, she said simply. The portal is keyed to your family's genetic signature. Without your cooperation, I'm just a very lost tourist with a fancy toolkit. The walls groaned. Somewhere in the distance, Finn heard what sounded like reality itself clearing its throat. "What do I have to do?" Celestine grinned, and for the first time since she'd arrived, she looked genuinely excited. Something incredibly stupid and probably illegal in 17 dimensions. The portal pulsed once, twice, then went completely silent. In the sudden quiet, they could hear something moving in the darkness beyond the dimensional rift. Something big. "That's not supposed to be there," Celestine whispered, staring into the portal's depths where something vast and tentacled was stirring. "What is it?" Finn grabbed his shotgun, though he suspected buckshot wouldn't be particularly effective against whatever was uncoiling in the interdimensional void. "Looks like a bureaucratic entity," she said grimly. "Probably from the Department of Dimensional Regulation. They've been trying to shut down unauthorized portal operations for centuries." "There's interdimensional bureaucracy? The worst kind," Celestine shuddered. "They have forms for everything, in triplicate, and they're always asking if you've tried turning reality off and on again." A sound emerged from the portal, like elevator music played on a broken accordion. It was followed by a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Attention portal operators. This is an official inspection. Please have all dimensional permits, reality licenses, and cosmic insurance documentation ready for review." "Oh no," Celestine groaned. "It's Inspector Vortak. He once shut down an entire dimension because their paperwork was in the wrong font." "I don't have any permits," Finn hissed. "Obviously, your family's been operating an illegal portal for 2 centuries. "Illegal? Surprise," Celestine said weakly, a massive eye the size of a dinner plate pressed against the portal's opening, blinking with the slow, methodical rhythm of someone who really, truly loved their job a little too much. "I see 2 biological entities," the voice announced with the enthusiasm of wet concrete. "Please state your names, dimensional origin codes, and purpose for operating an unlicensed interdimensional gateway." Finn looked at Celestine. Celestine looked at Finn. "Run?" she suggested. "Where exactly do you run from an interdimensional bureaucrat?" "Very, very far." The eye blinked again, and something that might have been a tentacle began squeezing through the portal's opening. "Please remain calm." Inspector Vortak's voice echoed through the basement as more of his bulk squeezed through the portal. He was, Finn realized with mounting horror, essentially a giant octopus wearing what appeared to be a cosmic business suit and thick-rimmed glasses on several of his tentacles. "This is a routine compliance inspection." "Routine?" Finn squeaked. "We've been dodging him for 17 years, Celestine whispered. "Apparently our luck just ran out." One of Vortak's tentacles emerged holding a clipboard the size of a small car. Another tentacle adjusted his glasses with practiced bureaucratic precision. "Finnegan O'Malley," Vortak read from his clipboard, "Hereditary Guardian of Portal Designation XK 7742, also known as that creepy hole in the basement that makes weird noises. You have been operating without proper licensing for approximately, calculating, 217 years, 4 months, and 16 days. I inherited it," Finn protested. "I didn't choose this job." "Inheritance is not a valid excuse for regulatory noncompliance," Vortak replied with the patient tone of someone who had heard every excuse in the multiverse. "Also present is Celestine Starweaver, licensed dimensional travel operator, currently in violation of 17 separate cosmic traffic laws." "Those charges are totally bogus," Celestine objected. "You parked your dimensional cruise ship in A&O Parking Nebula for 5 minutes. The fine is still applicable." Finn watched this exchange with the growing realization that his quiet life of guarding a portal was about to become significantly more complicated. "So what happens now?" he asked. Vortak's many eyes focused on him with the intensity of a tax auditor who'd found a suspicious deduction. "Now, Mr. O'Malley, we discuss your options. Option 1. Inspector Vortak announced, producing a form that unfolded like an origami nightmare. "Immediate portal closure with standard reality rehabilitation procedures." "What does that mean?" Finn asked, though he suspected he didn't want to know. "We fill in the dimensional rift with cosmic concrete and pretend it never existed. You get to keep your memories, but you'll spend the rest of your life wondering why your basement feels mysteriously empty. And option 2, full compliance with interdimensional regulations. Vorthak produced another form, this one approximately the size of a small novel. Proper licensing, safety inspections, portal maintenance schedules, and mandatory customer service training. Celestine perked up. Customer service training? The interdimensional travel industry requires all portal operators to maintain a minimum 4-star rating on Cosmic Yelp. This is insane, Finn muttered. Option 3. Vorthak continued relentlessly. Partnership with a licensed dimensional travel operator for joint portal management and profit sharing. Celestine and Finn exchanged glances. Partnership? Celestine asked carefully. Miss Starweaver's travel agency requires a stable portal base of operations. Mr. O'Malley's portal requires proper management. The bureaucratic mathematics are quite simple. You want us to work together? Finn said slowly. The Department of Dimensional Regulation prefers practical solutions to cosmic problems. The portal pulsed gently, almost hopefully. There's got to be a catch, Finn said suspiciously. Vorthak's tentacles rustled in what might have been interdimensional laughter. The catch, Mr. O'Malley, is that you'll have to deal with customers. Celestine grinned. I can handle the customer service. You just keep the portal running. I don't know how to keep a portal running. I'll provide the manual, Vorthak said helpfully. Only 4,000 pages. 3 hours later, Finn sat surrounded by interdimensional paperwork, his hand cramping from signing documents in 17 different cosmic languages. Celestine had somehow produced a pen that wrote in liquid starlight, which was impractical but admittedly pretty. Just to be clear, Finn said, pausing in his signing marathon, we're now business partners in an interdimensional travel agency operating out of my basement? Pretty much, Celestine said cheerfully, organizing permits with the efficiency of someone who dealt with cosmic bureaucracy before. Though we'll need to renovate. Your decor scheme of post-apocalyptic bachelor pad isn't exactly customer-friendly. And people will actually come through here? On purpose. Honey, you have a stable portal in a dimension with excellent Wi-Fi and pizza delivery. We'll be booked solid within a week. Inspector Vorthak, who had somehow folded most of himself back through the portal while keeping several tentacles free for paperwork management, cleared his throat with a sound like distant thunder. Final signatures required on pages 847 through 1243, he announced. What are those for? Finn asked wearily. Standard liability waivers. Cosmic insurance. Pet policy agreements. Pet policy? You'd be surprised how many interdimensional travelers bring their emotional support xenomorphs. Celestine snorted with laughter. Last month I had a client whose service animal was a sentient gas cloud that communicated through interpretive flatulence. Please tell me you're joking. His name was Mr. Whiskers, and he was surprisingly well behaved. As Finn signed the last form, the portal's humming settled into a steady, almost musical rhythm. The harsh green light softened to a warm blue-white glow, and the basement somehow felt friendlier. Congratulations, Vorthak announced. You are now officially licensed interdimensional portal operators. Your first customer arrives in 3, 2, 1. The portal flared, and something stepped through. Something that made Finn question everything he thought he knew about the universe. Again, the creature that emerged from the portal was purple, roughly humanoid, and wearing what appeared to be a Hawaiian shirt covered in tiny skulls. It had 4 arms, 6 eyes, and the general demeanor of someone who'd been traveling for entirely too long. Finally, it exclaimed in a voice like gravel in a blender. Do you have any idea how long I've been looking for a decent portal? The last 3 I tried were either closed for renovations or infested with cosmic termites. Finn stared. Celestine beamed. Welcome to Celestine's Cosmic Cruises, she announced professionally. I'm Celestine. This is my business partner Finn, and you're our very first official customer. Partner, Finn whispered. Business partner, she whispered back. Then, louder. How can we help you today? The purple creature consulted what looked like a guidebook written in a language that hurt to look at. I need passage to Dimension X4427, The one where everything is exactly the same except everyone's pets are tiny dragons. Ooh, lovely choice, Celestine said, already pulling out her interdimensional equipment. That'll be Dimension 50 credits, and there's a small surcharge for the dragon insurance. As she worked, chattering cheerfully with their first customer about the excellent weather in the tiny dragon dimension, Finn found himself watching her with a growing sense of wonder. 6 hours ago, his biggest concern had been whether to order pizza or Chinese food. Now he was a licensed interdimensional travel agent with a beautiful business partner who made Starlight seem dim by comparison. "Hey, Celestine," he said quietly. "Yes, when you said this was going to be something incredibly stupid and probably illegal in 17 dimensions," she grinned, her eyes sparkling with mischief and starlight. "The stupid part was me falling for a portal guardian who reads romance novels and uses cosmic equipment as furniture. And the illegal part? That comes later," she said with a wink that made his heart skip several beats. Much later, the portal hummed contentedly, reality settled into its new configuration, and Finn realized that maybe, just maybe, some family traditions were worth breaking, even if it meant filling out paperwork in triplicate for the rest of eternity.